Hey guys, it's Greg. In this video, I want to show you ICE the second edition. So the first edition was released a couple months ago, and now authors are preparing the second edition to start reprint. But what is different between second and the first edition? First of all, the main board is with less layers than the original one. We also have some new components and straightforward rules. I want to show you those components to show you that the game, in the end, is working exactly the same. I mean, even it's straightforward, it's more straightforward, so it's quicker. You can understand it much easier than the original one, but in the end the game is basically exactly the same. So ICE the second edition. If you are interested in this title, check out the rest of this video. So the game is set on a table. First of all, I would like to talk about the biggest changes in this edition of the game, the second edition, compared with the first edition. So the biggest change regards the board. In here we have 2 layers of the tiles less than in the first edition. So the game is smoother, quicker, and at least also shorter, I think. So what is removed? Authors removed 1 layer of the artifacts, and the authors removed the last layer where you could find those tiles of edifice or edifice. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. In here, on the bottom of the excavation site, there is some kind of ancient building, let's say, and this ancient, the bottom layer is also a little bit different, because normally you're moving from one location to another location, but this bottom location, it can be quite a little bit bigger. As you can see, this location is one big location, so when you are standing on this location, you are adjacent to all of the tiles that are around this space. So this is the major difference between the games. Also, the another change is that the game lasts 4 days. So basically 4 rounds of the game, in which round, in each day, you are going to spend all your action points to perform different actions on the board. How authors replace those edifice tiles from the bottom of the board. So now that we are going to have the cards. Cards are added in expansion, so we are going to randomly draw one of those cards depending on what you are going to find. You are going to set up the upcoming game in a different way. So we have this booklet over here. And in this booklet, we have information how you are going to set up future games. So, for example, if you found this sentry worm, I think you're going to put this token on the board, and this worm is going to somehow modify the rules of the game. And there's a few modifiers, so each of the game can be completely different depending on this edifice card that you drawn in the previous game. What do we also have here? We have 2 more. Guilds. Those guilds are also added in expansion. There is also another extra thing that was not previously introduced in this game. This is this board of the guild. So this is new type of action that you can perform. You can spend your points to do one of those things in your round. As you can see, there's quite a lot of them, and they can speed up the game or help you excavate more artifacts from your excavation site. There is also another small minor change, small minor detail, and this is new action. That's the action of the study. So you can study an artifact where you're standing and take a corresponding token. Those tokens are used as a tile of artifact for the purpose of using the skills of the artifacts. So in the normal game, you have to have artifacts with at least 2 dots in here. Those are called animals, if I am not wrong. So you can use the skills of this blue artifacts only if the sum of the animals is at least 2. So if you have 1, you always can perform study, get this token, and still perform the action of the specific artifact. So those are those major and minor changes in the game. But in the game, the overall flow of the game is exactly the same as in first edition. So you're playing 4 rounds. Each round you're going to draw 1 card of log book. This is also some kind of event, let's say, that is changing the rules and the effects and the things that are happening on the board. You're choosing one of these, you're implementing the changes, and then you can play the game. And how the game plays, so basically you are going to have your leader, you're going to have your tents, and you are going to have your player board like this one. Each of the guilds are asymmetrical, so in here we have extra rules for each of those guilds, and in here you have a track of your action points. I'm going to use action points at term for describing it, and you're going to spend those actions to perform different, you're going to spend those points to perform different actions. And the actions, cost of the action can vary, so it's basically moving from one space to another costs 1, but if you want to excavate one of the tiles, you need to spend action points depending on how costly it is. So basic simple excavation costs 2 action points, but you can reduce this cost even to 0 and make this action free if you have your excavation leader and those minor archeologists with you. And the more you have of those small meeples on hex with you, the cheaper it is going to be. Another thing that I would like to add also, that for those who do not know how this game works and how you can win it and score points, so those cards are the cards of your goals, let's say, and on those cards you have information what kind of artifacts are important for you, that what you want to excavate, and the more you have them, so for example the more symbols you have, and each of them must be different, the more points you're going to score at the end of the game. But you are not going to collect those artifacts, tiles of the artifacts on your board. In here you're collecting them like into your cache, into your supply, but you have to also ship them to I don't know, city, let's say, and you're going to lose those artifacts from your board. You're going to put them somewhere aside, and only those tokens that are set aside are going to count at the end of the game to score your cards of the goals that you are going to have from the beginning and during the game drawn. I think each day. Not only you can ship those artifacts, but also, as I mentioned before, you can use those artifacts to perform different actions. But before that, let me just quickly show you those tiles of different artifacts. So in here, I have an example of 3 different artifacts, 1 green, 1 blue, and 1 red. And in here we have those different symbols that represents, first of all, those dots, those animus or anima that you have to have just to use the skills of the artifacts. And in here are those different symbols that you are going to collect for the purpose of achieving the goals. So as you can see in here, we already have 1 tile that matches the symbol. We also need one of this and 1 of this, and then you can ship all those 3 red tiles to get 8 points. Again, in here, for example, you need to have like 1 red, 1 blue tile, and also the colorful dots that are on those tiles. So at least 1 should have 2 dots, or maybe you can have 3 tiles, 1 dot on each, but you're going to spend more tiles to fulfill this goal, and so on and so on. So as you can see, we have a lot of different goals in here. For each 2, you're going to get 4 points, and so on and so on. So here are the goals that you want to achieve through the game and score victory points. But as I said, not only those artifacts are for sending them to the collectors, let's say, and gaining few points, but also for using them in your turn. So in your turn, you can use those artifacts. Can be used once per day to do different things. So for example, blue artifacts give you 1 additional action point. Very cool. Another one, let's say green. Green allows you to collect a tile at the moment it is being discarded from the board. So even if some other player is discarding tile from the board, you can use your green artifact to grab this tile and do not put it into discard bag or discard pile or whatever what. And there is also blue was already here, but there is also a red one. This one allows you to discard a fully uncovered tile adjacent to the tile where your expedition leader is located. So again, this one is going to help you uncover more tiles on the board. So this is only the example. We also have artifacts that are like jokers. They are every single color, and during days you can reassign the tile and treat it as any of the colors. But at the end, when you're going to ship this token, you must decide as a what color you are shipping it, because when it is shipped, it is no longer a joker with every single color. Now, what kind of actions you can perform for your using your action point? So as I said, first of all, you can move by one. You can spawn your tent, and when you're spawning your tent, you always can decide to spawn also your leader to your tent. If he is somewhere on the board, you can recall him back to the tent. So this is the way to move faster around the board. You can also, when you're moving your character, you can collect those smaller archeologists and take them with you. So you can do something like this, and then those guys are together with you. Unfortunately, you cannot uncover this tile because this tile is covered with two tiles that are above it. So it's impossible to take it. But this one, for example, is available because it's only covered by one tile. So it is possible, but again, this tile is, because of the tile is covered by another tile that is above, the cost of excavating this artifact is going to be a little bit higher. As I already told you that you can study for one action point, and also you can play, because every time you collect the tile of surface, those tiles are some kind of effects that you can use and play them just like that. And those tiles are also going to help you in your excavations. And this is it. So the game is basically the same as the first edition. It's a little bit streamlined, shorter in the terms of there's less layers on the board. So the game is more dynamic, and I think in the end it's a good decision to make it a little bit more dynamic, because I remember when we were playing it for the first time with our friends, even if the game is the most complex one we ever played, our friends had some problems with playing it because they were lost because of the number of the layers that are on the board. Now it's a little bit simpler and it's easier to understand what is going on the board. So this is ICE second edition. The game is going to be on a crowdfunding platform soon. So if you are interested in this title, just check out the description below and check their notification page. So thank you so much for watching this video, and see you in the next one.